think about whether or not the sort of go-to-market engineer is a natural evolution of an SDR position, the more I sort of think it's just not. I can't find a way to sort of make that jump. I think one of the things that we have to acknowledge is that SDR roles have historically been very entry-level sales positions. And in fact, the objective of the SDR position has historically been to get people in who show some attributes of potential success in the future and have them sort of engage in what is effectively a sort of a manual action that people with more experience and credibility don't really want to action themselves. And so it's always been about sort of unskilled labor. It's a proving ground. It's always been like that. What's interesting as we think about go-to-market engineering and we think about that being sort of a replacement for the SDR position, I think the problem you run into is that I've seen great SDRs who are not great problem solvers, people who have capability and capacity to be successful in that role, but aren't really great at sort of the more cerebral aspect of sales. And I would argue that the skill set required to do this sort of go-to-market engineering position, number one, it's pretty steep. I think broadly speaking, like you have to be technocratically inclined across probably a Salesforce, a HubSpot, Clay for sure, and then a variety of other sort of tool sets, a lot of the AI tool sets. And then you also have to understand the sort of workflow process. And this is why I think every time someone says this, I can't agree, is that the perspective on how a program works or how pain points are articulated or absorbed in the market, like that process engineering is actually the part that's the most difficult. Once you understand how to build a clay table, you can build a clay table. But that doesn't mean that you understand the sort of correct process or sort of pain point, pain frame architecture, or sort of ways of distributing that sort of interaction to your prospect demographic. And the more that we at Full Funnel continue to do this type of work, the more I'm realizing it's like really a function of your technocratic capacity, your problem solving skill set. And then you have to have a pretty immense amount of perspective on how these programs have worked in the past and really like how the prospects engage with this particular product, service, or product category. And I honestly think that's going to be the biggest reason why the SDR position is not morphing into this go-to-market position. I think this go-to-market position is vastly different. And I think people are underestimating the sort of skill sets required to be successful doing it. What do you think?